Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. Turn that heater off. What is today, Wednesday? January 21st. Time's flying. Hey, teacher, good morning. Hope you are doing well. I'll be listening in. Okay. And Danbury Sports, hello, good morning. I got a dentist appointment at 6. So I had to go to that. Don Miku, hello, sir. Good morning. Good evening for you. Got some Candace Owens videos. A couple things related. Mostly it's related to that. I got one video for you, Don, in Australia. Or it was from Davos, Switzerland. But your former prime minister. But yeah, yesterday I was out at the tribal admin building that I always set up at. I went on a Tuesday because they were closed on. Sometimes I go set up on Mondays, but since it was a holiday, I went yesterday. It was super slow. Just a really weird vibe in there too, because down the road at this, probably the worst gas station in all of America, this little shithole right here. It says, undercover and regular police surrounding the corner store off Portland and Fairbanks. And they kept talking about it inside the building I was at. They were saying that ICE was down there. And they were just freaking out about it. And you just hear them talk about, and it's, I don't know. They just some people get really racist towards everybody. And that's what pisses me off, All of a sudden you start hearing, so-and-so looks white, so they don't have to worry. And it's just, I don't even want to repeat what I hear. It's just crazy. So I couldn't wait to get out of there fast enough yesterday to hear everybody, worrying about ICE being down at this fucking gas station. They could fucking bulldoze that gas station for all I care. The whole fucking thing. It's just a drug den anyway. So let me get away from that. But yeah, it was super slow yesterday. I think I need to just worry about Valentine's Day now. It's kind of getting to that point. So I'll still go out and do my normal weekend thing, but I got to get cracking on something for Valentine's Day. I just don't know what yet. So I need to just start making stuff, get in there in the kitchen and just start doing something. So after the dentist today, that's what I'm going to do. Because I was I did so poorly yesterday. I stopped at a couple other places afterwards and I sold a few things. But one of the guys, the first guy I talked to, he said, he's like, no, not today, but definitely for Valentine's Day. So hopefully I can do well for Valentine's, because right now January just sucks. I think everybody's broke. I mean, obviously, but Trump did say he's going to give out those $2,000 checks, and that he doesn't need Congress's approval to do it. So I'm banking on that. I need everybody to get those $2,000 checks, because then they're going to have money for strawberries. That's when I'll do really good. Even better than Valentine's Day, if everybody gets a $2,000 check. So we shall see. Dun, 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 dun. Oops, that's not the one. Someone bought me chocolate-covered blueberries and chocolate-covered peanuts. How were they? So they're separate though, right? Chocolate-covered blueberries is one thing and chocolate peanuts is another. I've been wanting to do, and I think I am going to do it at some point, maybe springtime, just straight strawberries and blueberries in a cup with chocolate. a chocolate sauce so it doesn't harden, and you can just eat, silky chocolate and blueberries and strawberries. But yeah, that's it's always nice to get a chocolate covered treat for sure. I'm sure you enjoyed that. Let's see here. Yeah, I can't believe it's the 21st already. $2,000 government checks for what, Mossada? He says because we're making so much money from the tariffs. Let me see if I can find it.
You promised $2,000 checks to Americans based off of your tariff revenues. When can
I did do that. When did I do that?
No, that's not the one. Let's see here. He just recently put one out. So this was on the 15th. People that are against tariffs are fools. We are now the richest, most respected country in the world, with no inflation, record stock market, highest 401ks. We're going to begin paying down our enormous $37 trillion debt. Record investment in the USA. Plants and factories are going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 a person, not including high income people, will be paid to everyone. So, and then I have him on video somewhere. Maybe this is it. Yeah, this is it right here.
Mr. President, Kevin Hassett has said that those $2,000 tariff rebate checks would be up to Congress to decide whether or not to disperse that. Do you agree with Kevin Hassett on that, or do you think you can do that unilaterally?
No, I don't think we would have to go the Congress out, but we'll find out. The reason we're even talking about it is that we have so much money coming in from tariffs that we'll be able to issue at least a $2,000 dividend and also pay down debt for the country. But we'd do a $2,000 dividend to the people of our country. Would probably set a limit of, income limit where it made sense. But we will be able to make a very substantial dividend to the people of our country. I believe we can do that without Congress.
And I think they're giving $100,000 to all the Greenland residents, which is like $700 and something million. I think. Maybe it's more than that. I don't know what the numbers are. Sweet Tea, good morning. Mossada, I'm not sure you heard Don Lemon trashing Nicki Minaj. She is not okay. I did not. I'll have to look that up. Your stock market crashed 1.3 trillion today. Yeah, I'm not a stock market guy. I have no idea. That's a rich man's game. That's your game, Don. I have no idea. Don Lemon trash and Nicki Minaj, huh? But yeah, hopefully we do get those checks. I would like to see it at this point. I don't care. I just want to see them. Let's see here. Don Lemon trashing Nicki Minaj.
They single out and they're going to make the headline because it plays to their base, and their base is full of racist, bigoted homophobes like Nicki Minaj, by the way.
Oh, pop that up. So Nicki Minaj sent a tweet out. Dawn cocksucking, her words, Lemon is disgusting. How dare you? I want that thug in jail. He would never do that to any other religion. Lock him up. And then she bizarrely puts a Chucky doll with it. So number one, the homophobia laced in that. But number
too funny. Yeah, because she's running with Turning Point now, right? So it's crazy because they're both enemies of the state, in my opinion. They're enemies of the people, anyway. She's not, and she is the state now. She's part of the state. She's part of Turning Point. Anybody that runs with Turning Point, in my opinion, is an enemy to the American people, whether they know it or not. Some of them might just be so dumb that they're not privy to what's going on. I doubt that, but so, we got people like Don Lemon. I mean, who's going to support him? I mean, I'm sure there's some libtards out there that do, but I'm definitely not a Nicki Minaj supporter. Good God. I mean, that lady is just disgusting in her own right. But I think if I had to take a side, it would probably be, God, that's a tough one, Sweet Tea. It would probably have to be Nicki Minaj, but oh, God. Lord help us all. Sven Larson, good morning. Yeah, why'd you have to do that to me, Sweet Tea? Oh my gosh. Now I got to think about I have to choose between Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj. Oh. All right, let's get to. So I got a lot of Candace. I normally stay away from the Candace stuff because it's just so complex. It's hard to even recap it. Either you follow it or you don't. But it's funny because Candace said something yesterday that I keep saying over and over and over again. It's the most important thing. There's nothing more important when it comes to saving our country, defeating the bad guys, getting to the bottom of things, any which way you want to put it. For us to quit getting fucked over all the time. There's nothing more important than getting to the bottom of the Charlie Kirk assassination. We'll never know the full details probably, but somebody's going to have to die for this. Somebody has to die. And I got an idea for Tyler Robinson. Since Tyler Robinson is more than likely, 99% likely he's in on this whole thing. I don't know exactly at what level, whether it really is like an MK Ultra, they blackmailed him with child porn, or how the fuck ever he's involved in it. He's obviously, he did not shoot Charlie Kirk with a 30-06. Point blank fact. Now, maybe he's the inventor of the exploding microphone that killed him. I don't fucking know. Highly doubt that either. I'm just saying he didn't kill him with 30-06. But if that's the official story, if that's what they're going to go with, and they're going to convict him of that. Hold on 1 second. Turn my heater back on. It's fucking cold today. If they're going to convict Tyler Robinson of killing Charlie Kirk with a 30-06 from the roof, from like whatever, the official story is 140 yards away. Okay? If that's the official story in the conviction, I say that Tyler Robinson is executed by firing squad, by a man, and it could be Charlie Kirk's father, executes him, shoots him with a 30-06 from 140 yards away. Because we need definitive proof that a net can stop a bullet. I want to see it. And, what human are we going to do it on other than the person that did it to Charlie Kirk? So I want Tyler Robinson, if he's found guilty, put in a chair, and I want him shot in the neck with a 30-06 from 140 yards away. That's the penalty for killing Charlie Kirk. Let's see it. Let's see what happens to his neck. And just see like a little hole get poked in it and a bunch of blood squirt out. Let's see that happen. I want to see it happen. You know, I'm sick and tired of their fucking bullshit. It's just lie after lie after lie. And our government is so part of it. They are. I mean, it's hard. They are the ones that killed him. It's a military governmental operation. I'm getting a fucking headache even thinking about it. I really am. This guy, he was there. Hunter Kozak, he was the guy, I believe was the last guy. He was the guy that asked Charlie Kirk the question. Who is Hunter Kozak? He was the last person to speak to Charlie Kirk right before the right-wing podcaster was shot and killed. So he was the one asking the question, okay? Right when Charlie Kirk was killed by the 30-06 from Tyler Robinson from 140 yards away. And the little hole got poked in his neck. So,
I know someone who's right near the person who got shot at Salt Lake. I was right near Charlie Kirk, and my high school alma mater, the one that my brother went to, got shot while he was there. Like, it is crazy how many events I'm a part of, and I don't think I'm necessarily an anomaly for that. Mm-hmm. And that's sort of the point of the video that I was trying to make, was that when you have 6,000 data points of of mass shootings that happen in America, you could pick anything that you want out of that. Like, that's an overwhelming amount of constant shootings.
So you need to know that, you know, in these military governmental operations, when they kill people, assassinate politicians, and kill people like Charlie Kirk, that some of the people that are involved in it look exactly like this. That these are the people that they use. They use young people. Okay. This dude is absolutely 100% part of the organization that killed Charlie Kirk. Did you hear what he just said?
I know someone who's right near the person who got shot at Salt Lake. I was right near Charlie Kirk, and my high school alma mater, the one that my brother went to, got shot while he was there. Like,
so that's 3, right? He knows somebody, he was, and his brother. This guy was also, they brought him on CBS. See if I can find that real quick.
Clearly woken up to the fact that everything is fake and seems like we're not ICE interview. One missing air to read.
Hold on, guys.
Was a Utah Valley student named Hunter Kozak. He was asking Charlie a question that day when he was shot, and he's here tonight, and he wants to ask you a question.
Hi there.
So it doesn't matter what the question is. I wanted to tee that up so you could see it. How does that make you feel? How weird is that?
It's very weird. So it is absolutely very weird. So Hunter Kozak. Now let me play another video. Let me get back to. Now this is him, and this is why I say I know for 100% that he's in on it, because he tells on himself. These people should not be on video. They should not be giving interviews. They're so horrible at lying. This is such a huge operation, what they did, you know, such a big deal, killing Charlie. I don't think they realized that the whole world was, that people like me were going to be paying attention, and Candace Owens and Baron Coleman and all these people, like, they're not going to get away with anything. Listen to what he says here.
I don't know. I think that the shooter is suspected to be a sniper on one of the roofs. For some reason, this this makes people think that I'm in on it, that I was Mike, or I was Mike, or I don't even know what a mic is. I learned that term two hours ago.
What is it?
I don't know.
A
I think
mic?
it's like
Is it like some sort of
I don't know. I kept
slur
saying
for liberal?
No. It was like I was shouting a call,
Mm.
and I said,
Oh, like you had a code word?
yeah, like I had a
Okay.
code word, and because I was talking about shooting, so they're like, that's
Like,
got to be
time to
it.
go.
And I also said I said great right after responding to him, and I think I don't even know why I said great. I think I was just like,
It's a high pressure situation.
that I was Mike.
Give me some credit. Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
So it's all a little too much, right? This guy, but he really told on himself right there. What is a mic?
This makes people think that I'm in on it, that I was Mike, or I was Mike, or I don't even know what a mic is.
I don't even know what a mic is. I just learned that term 2 hours ago.
learned that term two hours ago.
What is
So these guys are deep state. And if you listen to Candace, you know all about, come to find out that the government really does pay attention to the genius kids in this country. Like we do these, with the pencil and the little IQ tests and different things that they give us as kids. They find out early which kids are the geniuses, and they're gonna do something. If you're a genius kid, something's gonna happen to you one way or the other. If they know about you, if you're on paper, you fill out one of those little things in school, they come for you. There's a lot of these kids that don't even remember their childhoods, these geniuses. It's like it's all a blank. Or they just deep state you, and you go through the Liberty University way. There's like, I don't know. It's wild. The world is not what it seems. But they fucked up with Charlie Kirk. So this guy clearly admits that he's a mic. Like, what is a mic? And they love to use those 3-letter words too. The three-letter abbreviations. These people are not by accident, and it's funny because so you have this guy who just happens to be at the Charlie Kirk thing. He admits that his brother was at one. He says he knows somebody else that was at one, right? But at the same time, you have George Zinn, who was also at the Charlie Kirk, who was also at 9/11, who was also at the Boston Marathon bombing. It's like, okay, wait a minute. How dumb are we? What is really going on here? The craziest part about this whole Charlie Kirk thing, and Baron Coleman went on Candace yesterday, is the fact, it's already weird enough that Erika filmed Charlie Kirk's dead hands, which obviously were plastic hands, like they were mannequin hands, or they weren't Charlie Kirk's hands. They were just somebody else's hands. He's 6 foot whatever tall, and her hands were just as big, if not bigger, than those hands in the thing. She was mic'd up and had a video. Oh, baby. It was the creepiest fucking thing in the world to see that. But the list of creepiness just gets longer and longer and longer. But Candace dropped a bomb yesterday, and I'm just going to play a little bit of it. But basically, we know for a fact, because Mikey McCoy told us, and if you guys know this story, Mikey McCoy, who is Charlie Kirk's basically his best friend, is standing with a backpack and a phone in his hand when Charlie Kirk is given that, when he gets killed. And at the second that he's not even on the ground yet. He's just still like slunched over with blood coming out of him. Mikey McCoy's on the phone. He puts phone to ear and walks away. Like, he doesn't even dial. He just puts the phone, and he says that he called his dad and Erika. And I think that Erika was the first person that he called. And then he called his dad. Well, so Erika knew like immediately. Well, she was on a plane somewhere. And she chose to stay on the tarmac for over an hour before she left it. She waited for Andrew Colvett. So Mikey admits that he called Erika the second that Charlie, literally the second he was killed. And she chooses, I think she might have been in Arizona, but she chose to, on a private plane on the tarmac, and so they could leave at any second. And she chose to wait for Andrew Colvett, and then that story gets weird too. So your husband just gets killed? It's so important that you know that his best friend's going to call you the second that it happens. And he even says that they already had that worked out, that if anything ever happens to Charlie, that Mikey is to call Erika immediately, which is fucking weird in itself. But she chose to stay on the tarmac for an hour and wait for Andrew. I'm going to play a little bit of it.
Exceptional amount of rabbit holes that we have to jump through today. I told you yesterday that we received a tip, and it just made my mind go poof. So much happening here, so many connections. Baron, you have done fantastic work digging into Charlie Kirk's assassination. You would think the feds would do that, but apparently it's not their job.
No, we've had to decentralize the investigation a little bit.
Right. And I think they're nervous.
That not only are they nervous, I think they're terrified.
Right. And I are you of the opinion?
And if you guys don't know who Baron Coleman is, he's an attorney, worked for a major law firm, and he just quit so he could go full-time on YouTube and in the investigation of Charlie Kirk. And so him and Candace are teaming up.
Opinion that this is going to be resolved one day?
Not to the satisfaction of a lot of people, but I think to a certain extent, yeah, it's going to be.
Yeah. Well, let's just start with just some news. You heard the same thing that I heard. Turning Point USA did a massive purge of employees a few days ago, or at the end of, I guess, last week, you could say. What did you hear about that purge?
I heard there were 30 to 40 people purged, that they were looking for the leak. They knew there are leaks out of TPUSA. They are terrified of these leaks because of what TPUSA has been up to. And rather than try to be an honest organization, it's just, let's get rid of all the people we think might be disclosing that we're a dishonest organization.
It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
So I heard specifically a story, and it made me chuckle because it's like the most Andrew Colvett thing ever, because he's obviously the brains of the operation. And so apparently, I don't know what the context was of why they brought this girl into an office, or what, if they were planning on firing her. But the point is like, they made her bring her laptop up, and Andrew saw in her laptop that she had screenshots the timeline from my show. And it was apparently mass panic. They didn't know why she had screenshot this, and they thought that therefore she was the leak. Why would someone leak me my own timeline? I don't know why someone would do that. I'm like, Andrew, that doesn't make sense. Like, why would someone leak me what I created? This was from public information of where Charlie was, and the Egyptian planes. Who knows? She must have been a stand-in, but apparently other people at the office are watching the show live. They panicked, and they fired every single person that she was friends with, who she knows, and she was not the person that was leaking to me.
So the leak is still there.
The-
I know that for a fact. There
it's
are
a
leaks
leaky
still
ship.
there.
It's a leaky ship, and they're just going to
Yeah.
fire everybody. Never taking in more money, but they're going to have. Who are they going to replace? People. It's just going to become APAC.
Well,
I think it's going to become APAC.
This is a point I made to somebody recently. I said, if you can fire 40 people from your organization, you had too many people on the payroll. You were just blowing money. And that isn't a bigger indictment.
Yeah, because they're just one big money laundering operation. I'm going to fast forward a little bit more now. It was a great show yesterday. Let me see.
Imagine being able to build an app with.
Now they're going to talk about the connection between the Aurora shoot. Well, hold on. Let me go back a little bit more. Let me see what else they're going to say here.
Said they positively certain that is a circumstance. I had never heard that Dan Flood got fired. I don't know what they're doing with Dan Flood. I don't know what he's doing in New Braunfels, but I do know that he is a very protected person and not innocent in this.
Yep, Dan Flood. He's the one that was given the quarterback signals. His dad is or grandfather is some big wig.
But you and I received another tip, and I called you and I was like, you should probably come in studio for this because this is sending me down a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill.
An email. I'll let you tee this one up. Someone sends us an email. We're gonna show it, but you go ahead.
Well, what happens? If you look at the president's Twitter account, the Pope's Twitter account, what happens is when you get a title, you get control of the social media during your reign. So
at POTUS.
Yeah, at POTUS, at Pontifex. Apparently, Miss Arizona USA has the same thing. That the Miss Arizona USA, whoever's the reigning Miss Arizona USA, gets control of that account. And they don't delete those tweets. And so they're still there 10, 12, 15 years later. You can go back to Erika Kirk's reign as Miss Arizona USA and read her social media, including interesting tidbits about mass shootings.
Yes. So back in 2012, you guys may or may not recall, but we will now that I say it, there was this mass shooting that happened in a movie theater where a guy, the public were told, kind of similar to the Charlie Kirk assassination, some guy walks in tactical gear, but this was he was throwing smoke grenades. I mean, looks in retrospect pretty military. And then they pull out this guy and they're like, hey, this movie was coming out. Here he is. It's this guy. He did the whole thing. Well, at that time when Erika was, it was her year as Miss Arizona, somebody just randomly tweeted at her and were like, why haven't you made a statement about this horrific shooting? And Erika replies, and this is what she said. We can show this. And now it says, just so you guys are clear, it says Candace Knable because she now runs that feed, as he was explaining. But this was Erika tweeting this back at that person. What Erika says, one of my best friends was in the theater. So although my acknowledgement hasn't been blasted via social media, it's been more on a personal level. So Erika has a personal attachment via her friend who was in this theater at the time of another shooting.
And how odd is this? How many coincidences with these people are we going to accept? Her friend just happened, Erika Kirk's friend just happened to be at this shooting. And, you go back and look at that guy. I don't know if you guys remember that shooting. That was the one in, I think, Aurora, Colorado. It was at a Batman premiere or something. I don't know if he came in through the exit or whatever, and he just lit that place up. Well, and I don't know what happened to him, but you look at his eyes. He's got the same eyes as the guy who shot Gabby Gifford, the senator or whatever from Arizona. The same eyes as Adam Lanza, the kid who allegedly shot up Sandy Hook Elementary School. It's the same eyes, the same exact eyes. Who are these fucking people? And so I'm not going to accept the fact that there's this many coincidences. Oh, we have the Hunter Kozak kid. I was at the Charlie Kirk shooting. My brother was at this shooting. I know somebody that was at this shooting. Erika Kirk's friend was at this shooting. I'm at this shooting. My husband was killed, but it's come on. everybody's connected to all this shit. It's because they're the ones that are running with the crew that's working. They're part of the organization that is going around murking people for whatever reason. You know what I mean? To get their way. I think the question is sometimes is like, I mean, obviously we know, you know, there's a good reason to kill Charlie Kirk. He was a super influential guy, and he kind of like played both sides of the fences maybe there. And that's what got him killed. But like, a lot of times we may not even know who they're going after, and they'll just say like it's a public mass shooting, but in reality it was an assassination of somebody that was there that they wanted to get rid of, you know. And it's crazy, like there's so many ways, you know, like for example, let's say that you're a genius kid and they don't have a way to get to you. So what are they going to do? They're going to wait for your parents to go to watch a movie, and then they'll kill your parents, and then they can get you. It's just, it's just wild to think about. Let's see here. Military connections.
Presence here. And I'm starting to notice this common thread of military people that are just like in that theater alone. There were a ton of military guys that were victims of the shooting. And there's one other thing that aside from New Braunfels, Texas, that is another theme in this Jess Gowie, who that's where my eye went to when I looked at the victims. Like, this is strange. In her background, I think her background is interesting because she has an adopted brother, and I just don't know what to make of that.
Yeah, her dad divorced her, or maybe her mother divorced her dad. I don't remember, when she was very young, 3, 4, 5 years old, and they've lived apart. And it was interesting to me because when her father passed, she was not mentioned in his obituary. His daughter, who was tragically murdered not terribly long before he died, was not mentioned in his obituary. It's a little weird. But he was mentioned in hers. And sometime after, is a big age gap, but after she leaves the house, the father adopts this young boy and raises this young boy as his son. And it's just weird. I don't want to draw any too weird of a connection, but it's a very weird look.
Yeah, it's just like that thread of like military and New Braunfels, Texas, and, you know, Colorado Springs area, whatever you want to call it, which I told you Charlie was supposed to speak at the next day after UVU. And I go back because, and I know people are going to shout at me because they keep telling me I have to read it. I did only read like the first 2 chapters and I was interested, but then I got distracted. But Bill Cooper had made a lot of predictions. He was supposed to be the original conspiracy theorist who, before there were any mass shootings, was speaking about the military and saying that these were going to come and that there were all of these dark military projects that were going on. And I think just on the basis of what we know, when we start to unpack our military, MK Ultra, Project Looking Glass, literally there are satanic connections in the military. This seems self-evident to me that our military has been up to no good for
a very long time. Yes, they have. Yes, they have. Do you guys know who Dave Rubin is? Let me put him up here on the screen. This guy. New York Times best-selling author, comedian, and TV personality, best known for his political yada, yada, yada. The Rubin Report. Okay? So, I'm going to talk about him now for a second.
February 30th. All right, we got to get to Dave Rubin, because let me tell you, I cannot, actually, I can believe it. I can believe it. What am I saying? I am so far now aware of what Zionism is and how much of a cancer it is. And you do basically have to behave like a psychopath to be a Zionist. And I do think that it makes it a lot easier for some people. I mean, I think he do some schooling in Jerusalem. Barry Weiss, I think, did some schooling in Tel Aviv. Yeah. And so you start to realize that they actually cannot have relationships. Zionists can't have any meaningful relationships with anybody, because to them, the ultimate thing is whether or not you're going to support Israel no matter what, even when they're blowing up kids. And it was a very easy moral decision for me to say, no, you can't mass murder kids.
Right.
And that's what I did to them. So if you actually want to know what it is that drives Zionists insane about me, it's that I've worked with all of them. I worked at Prager University. I worked at Daily Wire. I worked with Dave Rubin, actually one of the very first shows that I did. They all know me and they have nothing bad to say about me. That's what drives them crazy. I've realized this. They have nothing bad to say about me, so they have to just make stuff up, right? Marissa Straight is working on, at the Prager University, the CEO, who I was very good friends with and was close with, is working on a documentary with, I think this guy's name is literally Shabazz. I'm not Shabazz something bomb. And I know that I sound like I'm being anti-Semitic, but I swear it's like Kestenbaum or something.
You better get that name right.
No, I promise it's Shabazz. I am being so real. Yes, Shabos,
Yeah.
Kestenbaum. And he's going around telling everybody it's going to be a takedown of Candace Owens. And that's what her new focus is at Prager University, which is supposed to be about like educating people about free markets. Guess not. She's gone masked down. Ben Shapiro, who it's so irrelevant, doesn't even matter. But you could easily go, oh, she was mean to. No, they have no stories. I worked hard and was loyal to the company.
CG2, good morning. Good to see you. We're listening to a little Candace Owens. She's about to throw Dave Rubin under the bus hardcore. And he deserves it because he's a sicko.
While I was there, I was a good friend to these people. And so Dave Rubin starts his morning today choosing Zionist violence. And this just shows you how petty they are. Just to tee this up, he tweets that he's been holding on to this for a very long time. But that one time I went to his house for dinner and I told him that I hated Charlie Kirk.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of that, I ranted, not just about Charlie Kirk, but I also ranted about Jared and Ivanka. So the Charlie Kirk thing, I have literally no idea what he's talking about. Asked my husband, he's like, zero memory of us even discussing Charlie Kirk. On the Jared and Ivanka front, I fully remember because it was such a light joke. And, you know, once upon a time, Dave Rubin used to try to say he was a comedian, right, and you used to be able to tell jokes with him. And he said he had recently been to Jared and Ivanka's house because they had moved into Miami. And he asked me what I thought about Jared and Ivanka, and I gave my honest opinion. I don't know what to think of them because they're too perfect. They pretend to be friends with everybody, left and right. And when you're around them, they present very perfectly. And I was like, I just don't know what they actually think about things. Like there's the layer that you can never pierce through. He then offers a joke, which was real, that when he went to their house, he's like, it was so perfect and pristine. And when he walked in, like the child was playing like Beethoven on the piano. And it was very funny.
Right. Yeah,
that was it.
Funny.
That was our conversation. I had a laugh about it. Today he's tweeting, I was ranting against Jared and Ivanka and that I hate Charlie Kirk. And he was the original person that was upset when I said genocide is always wrong. This was like Dave Rubin replied and was like, how could you say this? How could you make this statement? And it just made me so angry because there's a lot wrong with Dave Rubin. There's a lot wrong with Dave Rubin.
Well, there's a whole lot wrong with Dave Rubin. I mean, you could open that up and go for days. It's interesting to me that you are allowed to be pro-abortion or anti-abortion, and they'll accept you. I mean, they might say, I disagree with you pretty vehemently, but ultimately, as long as you vote Republican and support the top of the ticket, they're going to be fine. You can disagree on tax cuts. You can disagree on a lot of foreign policy, but you cannot disagree on the Israel issue. You just cannot. You have to be 100%.
And they're getting to the good part. It's worth listening to what she's going to say about Dave Rubin. Trust me. We need to know this stuff.
In support of the secular government, whoever happens to be in control at the time, all the time, or you are cast aside and lied about. And I don't believe for a second that Dave Rubin would have sat back for years on a story like this about you if he'd have had it, if he'd have known it and not mentioned it by now. I don't buy it. It's not a believable set of circumstances. And the fact that he thinks other people will buy it shows that he knows people just hate you and will believe anything someone says negative about you.
And they're just running out of things to say.
Yeah.
That's also what it shows is you're going to a friendly dinner where you tossed a joke about Ivanka's kids. No, I have nothing bad to say about Jared and Ivanka. Like I said to him, they've always been very nice to me. I don't know what they actually believe. Because they're just perfect and everybody is supposed to like them. But also Jared was running the White House for 4 years. I've said this stuff on my show, but to represent it and reintroduce it like it's something bad is what's wrong. And I do want to say this because then he posted a picture of me this is how nasty he's being. He posted a picture of me and him And he says, and as long as we are doing this, here we are at Peter Thiel's house in LA. Strangely, she never mentioned to me that he was a humanoid cyborg. And so the idea here is she's trying to make it seem like I'm a fraud because I've spoken about Peter Thiel, and I don't remember what year this is. This is, I do know, remember, it was 2018, because this was the trip when I went to go see Kanye. Right. I went to go see Kanye. That's why I'm wearing the same outfit from when me and Charlie are walking there. And Eric Weinstein was, I don't remember if he was brought with Kanye or what the deal was. He then said, let's go to Peter Thiel's house. Okay. I don't know Peter Thiel. I literally don't know Peter Thiel. So I met him at his LA. He was having a party or whatever. It was a very unique day. I'd never met Kanye or Peter Thiel. And he's kind of presenting this like I'm.
And you guys know who Peter Thiel is, right? The guy who runs Palantir. Data mining, data collection, geofencing, all that weird shit. Friends with JD Vance.
Being a fraud, I guess, is the vibe he's trying to put out there. So it's like, okay, fraud. Let's get a couple of things straight. The real reason that I stopped being friends with Dave Rubin is a situation that made me extremely uncomfortable and made me feel that Dave Rubin was a groomer, okay? Hand to God, this happened. Hand to God. Dave Rubin hired a person who worked with me on my team, not exclusively for me, at Prager University. And that he was very young. If I had to guess, he was 18 years old. It might have been 19, young, just starting, and he was ready for the next step in his career. He then decided he was going to move to Miami to work for Dave and his husband. And when Dave told me this, again, I was very green at a lot of times. If you even go back and find me like not really sure about my ideas about like gay marriage and abortion, whatever. So he says to us, oh, we were friends. We're going to, hire him. And it's so crazy. He has a really rigid Christian household and his parents are fearful for him to come work for two homosexuals in Miami. And I was like, that's so ridiculous. Like, what do they think is going to happen? Fast forward, I see Dave Rubin again, hand to God. And he says to me and my husband that him and his husband, and I would tell you this kid was extremely shy. One of those kids that blushes very easily and just a shy kid, just a normal shy kid. And he said, we think he's secretly gay. And so we've been like, egging him to like, just like experiment and to like hook up with a guy or to see like, that's what it is. We think that that's why he's so shy. Like he's diagnosing this young male as suffering from repressed homosexuality because he's shy. Right. Like, I don't know. Does he recognize that nobody even thinks this way? The idea of me prodding the narrative about whether or not one of my employees is a virgin or whether they've slept with men and women, like that's not normal. That's not a normal thinking pattern. Okay.
It's not.
What ends up happening is he then says that they compelled him or supported him, not compelled him, but pushed him to go on a date with a guy and to have his first kiss. Shortly thereafter, the kid quit and moved to, if I'm correct, Texas is where he moved to. And I was very happy that he did that because it was very obvious to me that they were grooming him into thinking he was a homosexual because he was just probably an inexperienced, shy kid. That's the reason I stopped being friends with Dave Rubin. I never shared that story until the audacity of this person who has told me about how he's done.
I mean, that's just fucking crazy. I'm going to skip now to the Operation Mocking Pastor. Probably take us to a commercial, but
I'm done with it.
Yeah, and I will tell you the Protestant churches, the evangelical churches are definitely experiencing a mass exodus. That's what's being shown. I think that is a good thing because I do believe that, and everyone's waking up to the fact that they were a part of this spell. There's this sort of Operation Mocking Pastor. They went masked down where you suddenly realize, whoa, why are all these pastors saying the same thing? Who's actually sending them these notes? And is this a part of a psychological operation? We've got these pastors like Rob McCoy constantly trying to rehabilitate pedophiles. And then they'll look at you dead in the face and be like, hey, if you want to be saved, you just got to unfollow Tucker Carlson on Twitter. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Why are you every Sunday preaching about Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens while you're inviting all of this into the church? I mean, this is deep, and it gets back to truly the 60s. I really do believe we lost America, and we were fighting for it, obviously, leading up to it. I think the Bolsheviks had infiltrated, obviously, but we were fighting for America. The day that they shot JFK, if I could go back and say, this is the moment that we lost LBJ, who was obviously a Satanist, just getting his guys in there. That's when they took over. In my opinion, they took over the military, and we've been dealing with things. And if I could put in another bookend, though, the Charlie Kirk assassination is when society woke up.
I think it's different. I had this question last night, or was it last couple nights ago on my show, whenever it was. We talked about what's different this time. What makes this a fundamentally different investigation than, any of the other big things that have happened. 9/11, we kind of accepted what they said. Yeah, okay, 2 big buildings fell at free fall speed. That's terrible. Let's go to war with Afghanistan. Everybody's like, yeah, let's do that. No, it took years before people stopped and said, does that really, on an engineering basis, really make sense? And Oklahoma City, and we just kept going over and over and over. But all of a sudden, it was so in your face. It was so over the top. It was so satanic. It was such a slaughter of an innocent person that people were like, no, I'm not moving on from this one.
Mhm.
We're going to solve this one.
Yep.
We're staying on this one. We're forcing you to stay on this one. And by staying on it, we've discovered money issues, potentially trafficking issues, all kinds of here's how these satanic organizations infiltrate, do-gooder organizations. I think Charlie was a do-gooder. He wanted to make the world a better place.
Mhm.
Well, they won't let.
Take a quick break right there. Gen X, good morning. Good to see you. Let me see what this one's about real quick. Andrew Colvett.
Yeah, but the number one thing that I think about, this is actually
This might be the plane.
number one. Andrew Colvett, because I had no idea that he would be engaged in this cover up and lying after Charlie's assassination. And I obviously was like openly crying on the phone with him in the aftermath. And he painted a vivid picture for me in that immediate 48 hours. We were on the phone. And he told me about how when he flew, he was on the plane flying, he had so much anxiety and it was pent up because everyone was messaging him while he's on the plane, and he doesn't know whether or not Charlie was okay or whatever. And then he said that anxiety, he said, as soon as the plane landed, I got off of the plane and ran into Erika's arms on the tarmac and boohoo cried. He said basically fell into her arms and cried because he was had so much anxiety. Their planes landed an hour apart. So I just thought it was interesting that she waited to go to the hospital, because who could say what I think we can say what we would do. We'd probably go right to the hospital. And she did tell me that she found out Charlie was dead before they took off in Arizona. And I think about that a lot, like, why wait an hour on the tarmac? And then despite waiting for him to land, they then went into different entries into the hospital. Erika went through the back and Andrew went through the front. So there's a lot there that doesn't make sense to me. But the hour waiting on the tarmac bothers me, because you are with other people. You should get to the hospital as fast as possible. And why are we waiting for Andrew Colvett?
I've really got to sit with that. That's such.
I've been sitting with it for 3 months, and this does feel like therapy that I finally got this off.
I mean, that sounds
4 months.
I need to go back and pull those plane records. His
I
and
have
hers.
them.
Yeah, and just look at the exact time. You can also look on the
Skylar
maps.
can probably pull it up. We have a whole document on the plane records.
And I don't know if you have Flight Radar 24,
that I was
but
going insane about the plane
you
records.
can see where the plane actually taxied to after landing, whether it went back to the FBO in the back or whether it was more in the public. Public.
He landed a lot later.
That is
more than an
bizarre.
hour if I'm remembering correctly. So that's something that I need to
Golly, I wish they
while
made
we
you
try to
mad.
pull that up, we will throw it to sponsors. All right. Maybe you owe back taxes or you've not filed taxes in years. Well, now is the perfect time to resolve your tax matters. With the national conversation around abolishing the income tax system, the IRS is now fighting back and proving that they are here to stay by becoming more aggressive than they've ever been. They're actually sending out more collection notices, filing more tax liens, and collecting billions more than in recent years. The IRS can take your wages, bank accounts, Social Security, retirement, and even your home. If you owe or you have not yet filed, it's not a question if they're going to act, but rather when. Right now, Tax Network USA is offering a completely free IRS research and discovery call to show you exactly where you stand. Their powerful programs and strategies can save you thousands or even eliminate your debt entirely if you qualify. Do not make a serious mistake by representing yourself or calling the IRS on your own. Waiving your rights can cost you even more money. They are not on your side. Get protected the right way with Tax.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I was making coffee. So how crazy is that? I mean, You're really not going to go to the hospital for over an hour when you know your husband just got shot? You're going to wait for Andrew Colvett, you know, one of the employees from the organization, and then you guys go in separate doors. It's so important to wait for him, but then one goes in the front, one goes in the back. Everybody's been involved in these mass shootings around the country. I don't know about you, but I've never been involved in one mass shooting. These people know people that have been involved in multiple mass shootings. It's all fucked up. None of it makes any sense, right, CG2? The only thing that makes sense is the fact that we know for a fact that there is, you can call it it's part military, it's part government, it's, you know, part silent investors. It's part everybody. And they're working against us, you know. And I think that she's onto something, that it is the people that killed JFK, you know. And they were probably, you know, doing shit way before that. And that probably is one of the times when they really gained a lot of power. And they've been in power ever since. So I don't know what's going to come of it, but I just feel like there's a shift. I don't know where it's going, but I feel like a lot of people are starting to wake up to it a little bit more. How do you go in separate doors of a hospital? Wouldn't Charlie have been in the ER? It's a good question. They arrived together at the hospital, right? And then, yeah, it doesn't make any sense at all. The only, you know, and the way the way that all of these people that are involved in this talk, they talk about things on a level that we're not. They do talk on a military level about everything. Even the words they use. Even listening to Rob McCoy, the creepy pedophile pastor. You know, Mikey's dad. The way he talks about just everything, it's just they operate on a, you know, it's like they're privy to information that we don't have. They are the deep state. They're privy to these plans that just operate outside of our box. I don't know how it's all gonna end up, but here, let's get back to this watch a little bit more. It sounds a little confusing here, but I'll tell you what, and I'm just going to stop it. I'll get to the X-Files. Ian Carroll is going to come out with the video. Mustang Mike, good morning, because he is really good at this. He already has an app for tracking planes and stuff, so he'll be able to illustrate it a lot better. But you know, they're just going over the receipts right there, so people don't think they're just making accusations. That's really what happened. I wasn't sharing the screen. Thank you, Sweetie. Yeah, I'm just going to stop that anyways for now. It's just so wild. It's just so wild. The whole thing. What a sloppy. You know, I don't understand why they. You know, here's where they fucked up. They wanted to kill two birds with one stone. They wanted to end Charlie Kirk, but they wanted to do it publicly. So there were other people probably like Candace, Tucker, other influencers out there coming up that may not even be around yet. They could draw back and look and see what happened to Charlie. And if you don't want this to happen to you, don't speak out against, Israel killing innocent babies type of thing. That's where they fucked up. They should have just taken Charlie Kirk out in private, had a fire at his house or something like that. The fact that they wanted to do it publicly and they made it such a huge operation. This was going to be the next 9/11. This was going to be the next Sandy Hook. This was going to be the next Columbine or Oklahoma City bombing or Boston Marathon bombing or Virginia Tech shooting. All military operations. All of them. Every last one of them. Obviously. In just my opinion, of course. Our government is fucked up, man. They really are. They are some fucked up motherfuckers. There's just no other way to put it. So here is a Justin Jones, who is some type of a pastor, wants to pray for Sean Hannity. And we'll just kind of listen to this exchange. I don't like Sean Hannity one bit because he's a fraud. He's an absolute fraud, just like the rest of those people on the news. I mean, I don't think there's anybody on corporate television that tells the truth.
Because what you're doing is wrong. You are disgraced.
Thank you very much.
You have that $1,000
But the one that needs the prayer is you. The victims in your state need your prayers, not me.
The threat to the American people
Pray for them.
is in the White House. It's not these immigrants who are trying. 70% of them have been convicted of no crime, and yet these goons are kidnapping them from their homes. Shame on you. God have mercy on you and anybody who believes it's right. And your children will be ashamed of where you stand at this time, Sean.
And you know what?
Ashamed that you are on the wrong side of history, and you'll be back in the history books.
You are a disgrace that is putting law enforcement lives in jeopardy.
I'm going to pray for you. God help
I appreciate
my brother, Sean.
the prayers. Pray for the victims in your state. Pray for the victims of murder. Pray for the victims of rape. Pray for the victims of violent crime. Pray for the victims of drug abuse. Pray for the children that have been sodomized and raped. Pray for them. Pray for them in your state, and you can't name one of them. And you don't give a damn about them. You don't care one bit. We're done.
And this is a perfect example of, like, if you were to just say Sean Hannity is even though it's opposite, let's just say Sean Hannity represents the right and that guy represents the left. They're both responsible for the murder of children, the rape of children, the trafficking of children, the destruction of America, fraud in America, warmongering, war profiteering, massive drugs in the United States. Because it doesn't matter what argument you take. We can take it back to, oh no, it's not about the left or the right. It's about the people above them. Who really is bringing the drugs in here? It's the government and the military. We know who it is. That exchange right there is a prime example of America right now, and the elites are levying the division, all part of the plan. 100 Gen X, exactly. Yep. I mean, that's what those guys do. That's what, people like Sean Hannity and all of them, Rachel, it doesn't matter. All throughout history, the Dan Rathers and Peter Jennings and all of them that's what they do. They are intelligence, deep state community trained to do that, to spin narratives, to create division. It's all in the words they use too, They love to use the left, right, left, right, left, right. Even the first, the very of the title there, Dem Tennessee State Rep, Dem. That's the division right there. Right? Then you have a border, two border words, Tennessee and state, two borders. Borders create taxes, more money for the rich. So the first three words in that, you know what I mean? Representative, the whole thing is just, it's all trash. Toro, good morning. I'm here listening. Right on, right on. Good morning to you, sir. But yeah, no, it is a perfect example of, you know, the real fraud in America is the illusion of the left-right, right? The duopoly, the illusion of choice. Coke or Pepsi, IBM, Xerox, you know. It is the duopoly. That is the real fraud. It is the levels of which they operate on and the foundation, you know. As Jordan Maxwell would say, to understand something truly, you must stand under it. You have to be beneath the foundation to truly understand how something works and operates. Because surface level, you're never going to know. And, you know, that's how these guys do it. Once, even, it's just that first word gets you right there, damn. If you accept that, it's always how they want you to accept the very first part of the plan. If you accept the word Democrat, that's the problem, that it's a left or right thing, then they already win. It doesn't matter which side you take, they already win. So, you know, going back to Candace talking about Dave Rubin being a groomer and how you have a young kid, a young male intern who may not even be 18, who is just, you know, just a shy kid. And now they're pushing him to be in a gay relationship and have a gay experience. You know, that's just, it's very, you know, it's very fucking strange. In the real world, you just let the kid figure it out for himself. 90-something%, he's probably not gay. He's just shy. Some kids are late bloomers. You know, do we really want kids having kids at 18? You know, let him grow up. Maybe he wants to fucking go to college. Who knows? But it just leads me to these guys, to Sneeko, to Myron Gaines, to that clavicle guy, whatever his name is, Andrew Tate, Tristan Tate, Nick Fuentes. They're all these just younger guys. These are like these guys have millions and millions of followers. They are the new group of influencers. But look how they behave. You know, they're going around and, you know, they got in trouble for playing that Kanye song, but it's just weird that they're even going around together. They just look gay. I don't know how else to put it. They just all look gay. And I think that the same people that, you know, because that, I don't know if we listened to the whole thing, but Dave Rubin is a puppet of Peter Thiel, the billionaire Palantir guy. Does whatever he tells him to do. He's the one that gave him all that money. You know, so these people are influenced and they're paid by these weirdos like Peter Thiel. And I think all these guys must be part of that whole thing because I don't know. I don't even know. My head's about to explode again. This is what the youth of this country have to look at.
That's what I was saying when he was there on stream. It's like, bro, if you talk about Hitler all the time, Hitler would, like, the Nazis were feared and respected during their reign because they had stage presence. They had good outfits. They had composure. They were professional. They worked as a unit. They had drip. There's not one bad picture of Hitler. He was so hyper aware.
So they go out and they play Kanye's song from a long time ago called Hail Hitler. And now this is the fallout. People don't appreciate them playing that song at the club. You got Myron Gaines here dressed up like a evil Jew. I don't even understand what I'm looking at here. Like, what are these fucking guys doing? And then Dan Brazilian.
Apologizing, and the fact that like listening to a song in the club is now a crime.
Bro, it's the gayest shit I've ever seen. I can't believe he's walking that back. I mean, he of all people should know that you don't fucking apologize for shit. It's like so crazy.
Yeah,
So you have all of the major influencers that I just named, and this is what they're talking about today. They're talking about it's just so obvious that these guys are paid to just do this shit. They're trying to cause division, of course, with the American people. They're trying to get us to fight. And it's crazy. Like, I dealt with it in person in reality yesterday. Like I was saying earlier about, they said the ICE was down the street from where I was set up at. And that somebody got detained and arrested down there. And you could just hear them. I'm in a Native American establishment, and they're talking about white this, white that. Very uncomfortable to sit there and listen to it, for me personally. Like, and it's because, I don't have no problem fucking, but I don't want to get kicked out of there. I got to just keep my mouth shut. It's not I'm there for business. But it just goes to show that it's just a powder keg. My head's going to explode. Now it's really going to fucking explode after this video.
Stuart, I ran.
Let me catch up on the chat. Tommy, good morning. Good to see you. How are you, sir? Sorry you're just coming in for this video, but got to play it. In Seattle, there's a place called the Plymouth Housing Project, which is basically just one big drug den. Taxpayer-funded Plymouth on Stewart houses 4 major known drug dealers in Seattle. The rest of the residents are drug-addicted thieves, according to trusted sources. Well, you have a mom here with her 2-year-old child waiting for one of the drug dealers to let her inside of this place.
I was just on 2nd and Stewart. I ran into Stephanie, her child, her dog Nemesis. I ran into a couple guys I've known for 5 years since my days in Denny Park. No, you're not welcome to that. Stephanie said this place is off charts. 3 of the 4 major dealers are dealing out of 2nd and Stewart, which is Plymouth on Stewart. This is where you go to get the best dope in the city. Everybody knows it. And now we've got a little 2-year-old floating around as well. Breaks my heart. She was talking. She wants help. You can tell she wants help. You can tell she wants to break free. But Seattle makes it so hard to get clean that even when a well-intended outreach worker like me comes through, I'm just coming home from dinner, it's very hard to intervene.
Photographing.
That was probably the first situation like that I've seen ever. When you've got a little kid floating around a Plymouth building where everybody's doubled over on fentanyl, buying, dealing, slinging. All the regulars were there. That building is off the hook. That's where it all happens. To be continued.
It is going to be to be continued because I'm going to get involved in that somehow. I'm not going to fucking stand for that. That just makes me sick. I'm over it. I'm over it, and it's just going to get worse with the mayor that's in Seattle. I don't know how I'm going to get involved, but somehow I'm going to get involved too. This has got to stop. If Maduro's gone and they're not blowing up any more drug boats anymore, where the fuck is all the fentanyl coming from? Why are those people still slumped over? If we don't make it here in America, and we're not getting any more precursors from China, and all the drug boats are blowing up, Maduro's in jail, where are the drugs coming from? They got to be coming from somewhere, because we're not making fentanyl here in America, as far as I know. We don't have the precursors to do it. There's 13 precursors, is what Cash Patel told us. So it's just fucking disgusting, man. It really just makes me sick that that's going on. Because once she does that drug, where's her kid at? What you know what I mean? Like, here we go. I'll play this one real quick just to get my mind off that real quick.
I like a brown, yellow, Puerto Rican, and Haitian with good conversation. Plenty big faces, it's a bus stop. Stay luxurious, jewelry cut, precision like God was. Been winning since, fuck the clock blew up. It's everything, shit I can't be touched. Niggas say I'm too much, I trust is true. I lie, see with yourself when I slide through. I buy the big safe, don't look, you do. Shine so bright and the whip do. You wish who could ride but shoot it out. Ain't nothing in the world that Brad can't do. But I'm attracted to who they you see, folks it, December, unrestricted, dropped in, the cost is priceless. Due to the contest, just you like it. What do you like? Whole lot of gold play when you get it started. Come on, let's go. What you like? You wanna battle type fire. What do you like? Somebody that make you say wow. Oh no, we do it all night long. We do it all night long. We do it all night long. Tell me what's up to sexy.
I don't know who that is, Gen X. Let me see if I can find out. That's what somebody else said. This is Sexy Red performing at Lollapalooza in Chicago's Grand Park on August 2nd, 2024. Now, Grog gets it wrong sometimes. No, that's got to be DeBrat, right? I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah, see now Grok says that's DeBrat performing at the 2023 Lovers and Friends Festival while pregnant. She rocked a custom Chicago Bulls jersey with the cutout to show her baby bump. That makes a little bit more sense. Not really a fan of it, but, you know. Yeah, that must be DeBrat. What else do we got here? Where's Steendu at? So this makes no sense to me whatsoever.
This is a Fox News alert. Erika Kirk putting the judge presiding over her late husband Charlie's murder trial on notice by invoking her right to a speedy trial as the representative of a victim of crime. You can do that in Utah. They're the only state to have such a law. And in a new court filing, she is accusing defense attorneys of dragging their feet as they attempt to kick the prosecutor off the case. The next hearing on that topic is set for 2 weeks from today. This is a Fox News alert.
So the wife of the murdered gets to tell the defense that she wants a speedy trial. She wants, let's get this fucking thing on the move. And Utah is the only state that you can do that in. I find that interesting. You know what I mean? And so, but again, if Tyler Robinson is convicted of killing Charlie Kirk from the roof with the 30-06, then let's kill Tyler Robinson with the same gun. Put him in the tent and let's shoot him from 140 yards from a roof and let's see what happens. I want to see it. And we'll have an expert shooter do it. and to shoot in exactly the same spot from exactly the same angle with exactly the same bullet. I want to see it happen. Let's see that bullet fragment or whatever they said it did. Whatever the final theory was, whatever the conclusion was from the autopsy. I think they said the bullet fragmented. Geez, that's not suspicious, right? CG2? Not at all. Not at all. J-Lo handing out some money to a homeless guy.
Look beautiful, Jen.
Hey, Jennifer, I love you. I don't care what, I love you. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, baby.
So I don't know how authentic that is if a homeless guy can just go up to J-Lo like that and get a handout. Maybe. Trump talking about some of the people that have ICE has caught.
People, vicious, many of them murderers. These are all out of Minnesota, just Minnesota. I say, why don't you talk about that more? Because people don't know. Do you want to live with these people? International murder. These are people that are they're apprehended and either put in jails in their country from where they came, and the countries respect us, and so they actually put them there. In the old days, they didn't respect our country. Biden wouldn't do this because he let them all in. If you didn't have open border policies of Biden, none of this, all of the time that we spend talking about Minnesota and everything else, most of them are coming from out of the country. And it's been caused by a previous administration. Look at this.
And, right or wrong, take the Renee Goodman thing out or whatever her name was, Renee Good or whatever. I'm all for this, man. I seen firsthand all the violent crime and shit that was going on in Tacoma in 2020. And those guys are, I'm sure it's still out there, but not like it was. It was fucking bad for a while. And just yesterday, they were rounding up bad guys here in Tacoma. So, and I heard they were in a state or a city next to us the day before. So, I mean, if you ain't, I don't know. I like hearing that they're rounding up bad guys, I really do, because you're talking about, the difference between kids. I don't know about you guys, but when I was a kid, this same town that I live in now, I could take my bike or just even walk or take my bike and my parents would let me do it. It didn't matter what fucking time it was. It didn't matter, really. It could be dark or it didn't matter. I would walk from, my buddy lived on the other side of town. It was probably, I don't know how far it was. It's quite a few, not quite a few miles, maybe like 8 miles. We'll say like 8 miles. 5, I don't know how far it is, 5 miles. Just ride my bike there, walk there. We would meet halfway all the time. Stop at 7-Eleven, just being kids. It didn't give a shit about nothing. Never had not one. The only time I ever had a problem is when we fucked with somebody. Just being stupid. And you think you want to fuck around and find out, then you're going to get a problem. Other than that, never. Now I wouldn't fuck. You couldn't pay me to let my kids walk down. There's just no way I would let them do it ever. So maybe we can get back to that one day. Who knows? What else we got here? I don't know what. This was New England and Indianapolis. I don't know when this was, but maybe you guys can explain this play.
Practice all those throws.
Yeah. Now we've got on a 4th down and 3. You got Griff Whalen ready to take the snap. He'll snap it. Actually, Colt Anderson is behind him. And what in the world? Flag is down.
Illegal formation. The whole right side of the line was not on the line of scrimmage. Offense. This penalty is declined.
Trying to sneak it. There were 3, 4, 5 guys around 2 players. That was insane. I mean, you got a guy on either side of them. What are you doing here? I mean, they don't even try to run a play. We've seen a lot of bizarre stuff. I've never seen anything more bizarre than that. What was practice all those throws up?
Yeah, don't know. That must have been quite a while ago. It says McAfee was the punter. So that, how long ago since McAfee played? Let's see here. I know I skipped a couple more. They had the World Economic Forum just recently. I guess Trump's plane had to make an emergency landing. They had an electrical issue or something. That's not what this is. This is Howard Lutnick at the WEC.
Well, I think you should start at a much higher level. Okay. We are in Davos at the World Economic Forum. And the Trump administration and myself, we are here to make a very clear point. Globalization has failed the West and the United States of America. It's a failed policy. It is what the WEF has stood for, which is export, offshore, far shore, find the cheapest labor in the world, and the world is a better place for it. The fact is, it has left America behind. It has left the American workers behind. And what we are here to say is that America First is a different model, one that we encourage other countries to consider, which is that our workers come first. We can have policies that impact our workers. Sovereignty is your borders. You're entitled to have borders. You shouldn't offshore your medicine. You shouldn't offshore your semiconductors. You shouldn't offshore your entire industrial base and have it be hollowed out beneath you. You should not be dependent for that which is fundamental to your sovereignty on any other nation. And if you're going to be dependent on someone, it darn well better be your best allies. Okay? And so that is a different way of thinking. It is completely different than the WEF. I viewed the WEF as not a flagpole in the middle, but in fact, they are the flag. Whichever way the wind blew, so it blew. You should have solar, you should have wind. Why are you going to do solar and wind? Why would Europe agree to be net zero in 2030 when they don't make a battery? They don't make a battery. So if they go 2030, they are deciding to be subservient to China, who makes the batteries.
It's a good point. Nick Shirley claimed that they edited his interview with this Channel 5 guy to make him look not smart. And this guy from Channel 5, we'll just play like a little clip of it.
All right. So normally and historically, my policy for whenever somebody's saying some factually inaccurate stuff about me online is to turn the other cheek, keep my head down, and get back to grinding. But in this case, with Mr. Nick Shirley, who is now falsely accusing me of conducting an unfairly edited interview, I think I'm going to pick option 2 and let people know what went down. Journalistic integrity is something that I kind of take a little bit seriously, and I can see a future wherein access is limited to prominent people, especially conservatives, if I don't dispel this false narrative. The immediately in its entirety right the heck now. So to do this right, I'll have to show you a couple of things, including text messages between him and I, and actual footage of the working Premiere sequence that I used to edit the interview so you can see what was cut and why. So let's begin with an editing lesson. So when we're dealing with a long-form interview of somebody who talks very slowly and circles back to repetitive talking points, one of the first things that we do in post-production is cutting what's called dead air, which means long pauses between words or sentences or fixable verbal stammers that slow down the conversation and risk boring the viewer. So in this raw interview with Nick, which had a total runtime of 2 hours and 2 minutes, we had to cut nearly half an hour of dead air to make it listenable. Many people like to choose their words carefully, so I get it, but there was a couple points in the interview that even in person, we had to have Nick repeat himself because the crew felt that no amount of corrective editing would possibly be able to make him sound normal.
It's been an interesting few days, past 72 hours. My video on the expose of the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever, longer than 10 minutes, other than Mr. Beast.
Can you say the fraud in Minnesota again? Because you kind of stuttered.
Yeah. Wait, are there going to be cuts in this or just going to be one take?
Which will make it perfect. So if we ask for to say it again, it's just to make sure you say it perfectly.
Oh, okay, yeah. So, so my video on the fraud in Minnesota is the most viewed video ever by a creator, longer than 10 minutes, expose style, than anybody other than the name of Mr. Beast.
So bear with me here. I'm going to show you the raw footage, and we'll see how with the magic of editing, we were able to make Nick sound actually smarter and faster than he was in person. Check this out. How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist actually went and created a video that created a change instantaneously. For instance, you had the HHS, Health and Human Services. They froze all funding to childcare inside of Minnesota and then they're asking for businesses to prove that they are legit businesses before they give tax dollars to these businesses that are not really businesses.
How does that make you feel, like gratification-wise, as an independent journalist?
Well, I think it's the first video you've seen in a long time where a journalist
I can't even watch any more of this. You know what gets me is that the most viewed video of all time on X, 500 million views, came from this clown. And these guys don't even know how to dress. Okay? I mean, what are we really looking at here? Look at their shoes, for example. And he's wearing that hoodie that says Luring Center. You know? Which in itself is just you're just being a racist little fucking dickhead. You know, what about just normal people that don't speak English that are trying to learn English? That's just, you're just being a fucking asshole. And there's no way you'll ever convince me that clown is a journalist. He can't even fucking talk right. The human health and what? So this is the guy that is the fucking greatest journalist of all time. I mean, look at the way these guys are even fucking dressed. This guy doesn't even make any sense. A red beanie, a Philly jersey, and a camouflage coat, rolled up jeans, and sneakers.
Services.
I don't know. One more thing that fucking irritates me. I got more important things to worry about today, though. I think that's it, guys. Let me double check here. We watched that one. Sneeko, D'Amico. There was one about the Prime Minister of Australia. I'm going to skip that. Yep, that's it, guys. I'm going to head out. I got to go to the dentist this morning, so I'm going to go take a shower, and I think I'm going to do a load of laundry. Listen to Tommy for a minute. So I appreciate everybody hanging out. Hope everybody has a good Wednesday. Hopefully Trump says something more about those $2,000 checks. At this point, I just want my fucking money. I want a $2,000 check. I want everybody else to get a $2,000 check. Nobody has any money for strawberries the last couple of weeks or what? I don't know what's going on. So we need a little stimulus in this country, something. See you guys over at the social club. Thanks for hanging out.